Everybody, this is Dream, and today we have our NBA slate for DraftKings here. This slate actually starts a little bit earlier than they normally do. This one starts at 6 p.m., so do keep that in mind. And we have a 6-game slate. So with that said, can you guys like and subscribe? That really does help the channel a lot. Make sure to check out Discord and stuff, and the link in the description. And with that said, let's get into the injury report today. We have the Cavs with Mitchell and Allen both questionable. The Grizzlies, Morant and Bane are both doubtful. For the Wizards, Beal is out. For the 76ers, Harden is out and Melton is still questionable. For the Nuggets, Highland is out. For the Bulls, Kobe White is out. For the Nets, Irving is out and Curry is questionable. For the Lakers, LeBron is doubtful and Davis is probable. I think LeBron is actually closer to out, but that's just what he's listed on the injury report today. So let's go ahead and get into the players we do like. It's a pretty decent day, actually. There is a lot of injuries that we have to consider here. But with so much of the knowledge early in the day, it's a good chance to have a good idea of what we're going to be able to be working with. So we're going to start with Tyus Jones for Memphis. Now, his price hasn't really been affected by the potential that Morant would be out. And we know that he can have absolutely massive games when he starts for Morant. So I expect him to be probably 100% owned if Morant is in fact ruled out today. He's a great play at $3,600. So I think he will be a good play on this one if Morant is out. Then Darius Garland now with the Cavaliers having a couple guys questionable. He would definitely get a big boost if those guys are out. But I will say that he's still a pretty good play even if those guys play. His price point has come up some, but he's still a pretty good value play. A very good value because he can score 40, 50 fantasy points on a given day, and he takes plenty of shots. It's just a matter of him hitting a lot of them. Then we're going to look at Jamal Murray for Denver. Now, this is a tough matchup against Chicago, but he's been really playing well, and his price point has still stayed about the same. Actually, dropped off from the start of the season, but he is still playing pretty good, and he has 40 fantasy point upside here in this particular matchup, especially. I do like him, but he is a little bit risky because of his price, but overall he's still a good play. Then we're going to look at John Conchar. Now, he would probably be a better value, assuming that those guys are all out today. So we'll have to wait and see. But he's played well in starts. But he is a little bit inconsistent of a player, but he's still only $3,400, so he's somebody you could take a risk on if those other players on Memphis are ruled out. Dylan Brooks is in the same position where he will get a nice boost if Morant and stuff is out. But we do want to wait and see to make sure that Morant isn't backed out and also Bane before we load up on Brooks. Then Klay Thompson here for Golden State. He kind of let us down the last game with bad shooting, but he is getting the minutes that we need, around 30. And for his price point, he's still definitely capable of being really solid for us. And so it's just a matter of him playing enough minutes and then, shooting the ball decently well. In the last game, he just didn't shoot very good. So against Cleveland. In this game against Sacramento, he should definitely have a lot more opportunity to shoot well. Then we're going to look at Zach LaVine for Chicago against Denver. Now, Denver is a pretty good defensive team, but overall, LaVine has been really ramping up and playing a lot of minutes and been hitting high numbers. And he definitely has 40 to 45 point upside in this matchup, and I expect him to get close to that in this one. Then we're going to look at Royce O'Neal for Brooklyn. With Kyrie still out, he's still going to be a guy that gets more part of the offense, and he's been playing well. Now, obviously, with Simmons, I guess potentially playing, that does hurt him a little bit, but even in the last couple games when Simmons did play, he did okay. But he still got some value and potential in this game, especially against the Lakers, who have been absolutely terrible, and LeBron isn't playing either, it looks like, so he should be somebody that has some upside. Michael Porter Jr. here, now he's very inconsistent as a player, but he has lots of big upside, and his price point has come down some, making him a viable play here. For Lonnie Walker, he's kind of in a similar boat where he's getting a lot more minutes because LeBron is out. He's been playing a pretty solid amount of minutes all season, but he gets more shot attempts and stuff, and he's a little bit more involved. But you do have to be aware that he's more scoring dependent than some of the other players on the slate, so do keep that in mind here. Kevin Love looks really good today, especially if Jared Allen is ruled out. His price point has come up a little bit from the start of the. Well, I guess it's about the same, but he has come up a little bit. But I still think he's a good value play. And a few games where he's played more minutes as a result of guys being out, he's had some pretty good games. So I think he has a decent amount of upside in this one if Allen is out. Then we're going to look at Aldama for Memphis against Washington. He's going to get a nice benefit today too if Bain and Morant is out. Obviously, we got to wait to make sure that they're out, but he's actually a pretty good price regardless. As long as he gets a decent chunk of minutes, he should have some upside in this matchup. Then we're going to look at Draymond Green. Now, he has been very irritating this season, but he's a little bit cheaper now, and he has some upside at this price point. But that said, he's been inconsistent, so do keep that in mind, but he is a good value play on this particular slate. Steven Adams would definitely get a nice boost if Morant is out, just offensively speaking. He has been rebounding the ball extremely well. The big issue with him has been the actual regular points. And so if he can continue to rebound like he is in a game where he's probably going to get more looks up from the opportunity with Morant out, potentially out, then he would get some upside here. Then we're going to Nicholas Claxton for Brooklyn. This is a good matchup for him against the Lakers. He's been really good with Kyrie out, and I expect that to continue, especially if anybody else is out on the team later. Then we're going to look at Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis has actually been really consistent lately. I really do like how he's been playing, and the Kings have seemed like they're kind of playing pretty smooth as a team. Obviously, they're kind of a 500 or so team, but he's been really consistent, and his price point is still pretty good. I expect his price point to rise over time as well. Evan Mobley for Cleveland, he'll be a great play if Allen is out. He's had some really big games when there's been other injuries on the team, and today's one of those games where there's a potential for that. And his price point has actually come down a little bit, so I do think he's in a good spot. With that said, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below, and have a nice day.